Hey everyone, welcome to Sarah in the Universe. I'm Sarah, and well, if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail or the title of the video, or how I'm dressed right now, today I am going to be talking about the film Black Swan. This is something new that I'm starting on my channel where I go back and revisit films from the past to just talk about them, give my thoughts and feelings in a very non-structured way. It's just me spilling my guts about the film. And, Black Swan is one of my all-time favorite films. I'm going to get into a lot of this video is going to be me just talking about what the film means to me, and also the film itself, but more just because obviously that film's been out now for a long time. I rediscovered that film a couple of days ago. I decided to rewatch it after a very long time, and I have so many feelings that I just want to express to you guys. So if anyone cares, join me along this downward spiral of a video, and let's go on this journey together. I just wanted to thank you guys who are subscribed to the channel for coming back and checking out another video with me. And, I did my Black Swan inspired look today, but I'm feeling this looks very Madonna 80s and stuff. So I don't know, but you know what? We're gonna go with it. I tried my best, okay? And one of the themes that I'm gonna get into the video about Black Swan is how obsession isn't cool. So I should stop obsessing over the fact that it's not that I'm upset at how my outfit turned out. It's just it didn't turn out the way I thought, but that's okay. That's okay. Because Black Swan is a crazy story. So let's get into it, guys. Okay. So Black Swan stars Natalie Portman as Nina, who is a ballerina who gets this amazing opportunity to become the Swan Queen in her ballet productions of Swan Lake. And yeah, she has a pretty crazy time. The story is that her character, and by the way, I'm going to be spoiling this film like through and through. So if you haven't seen Black Swan, you don't want it spoiled, please don't watch this. Come back to it afterwards if you'd like, but I'm going to be talking spoilers. So, yeah. So, also, I think I just want to bring this up. I'm going to be talking about things related to mental health and all that. So if that kind of makes you uncomfortable, maybe you also want to skip this video too. Nothing super serious or anything like that, but I know some people don't like to watch stuff like that. So yeah, but it just relates to this movie and the story so much and how I look at it. But yeah, so okay, anyway, so yes, Natalie's character, Nina, she really embodies the white swan who's very innocent and pure and very demure, but it's the black swan that she has trouble becoming, who's complete opposite of that, more promiscuous and extremely confident and just the complete opposite. And that whole movie is about her kind of struggle with becoming that. She wants to be it so bad, and she's just so obsessed with it to the point she completely loses herself and loses all sense of reality, and ultimately in the end it kills her, literally. And that's, the point that I want to get into this video. I think I named this video, I have to look back at the thumbnail, but I think I named this video Black Swan and Escaping from the Prison of Perfection. I think that's what I named the video. And, that is something that I think a lot of us can relate to, is just this idea of being perfect or having the perfect life and really just being so obsessed with looking at it. And maybe, I've interpreted them. I think all movies are subject to your own interpretation of how you saw it, how you feel it. And I think Black Swan is one of those movies where you could pull anything out of this film, and that's how, however you felt about it. And, before I get into, more of what I think, I'm just going to be babbling so much. I want to talk about when this film came out. It came out in 2010. That was literally right when I graduated from high school. So it was much, much younger back then. And I remember, when this film came out, obviously I knew I wanted to see it because Natalie Portman is my favorite actress. I mean, oh my gosh. And she won an Oscar for this film. So well deserved. I seen pretty much all of her films. I'm such a fan. And I mentioned in my Abigail, if you watch my review of Abigail, I did a little ballet myself back in the day when I was a little kid. Nothing serious, nothing like what you see in Black Swan, but ballet is very personal to me and I admire the craft so much. It's very beautiful to me. So that already was a huge draw to see the film back then. And my reaction to watching that film myself as someone, very young, first of all, I loved it. It was so hauntingly beautiful to me. But there was something that struck me while watching the film that I personally didn't understand at the time. I didn't understand why I was so just enamored by it. There was something in that film that literally was just screaming and tugging at me, like in my soul, and I didn't understand what it was until all of these years later. Like, I'm pretty sure I rewatched Black Swan in between sometime then, but it didn't really hit me until I think 2 days ago when I decided really late at night that I felt like watching Black Swan, the perfect time to watch that movie. And, personally, as when I was young back then, straight out of high school, going into my 20s, I was dealing with a lot of stuff mentally and emotionally, as anyone would at that age or ever. You're at this place in your life where you're like, I'm out of here and I'm going here, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with my life. Heck, I still don't even, really know now. You're just kind of going on. You don't know what's meant to be what, but there was other things, I had my own stuff that I was going through, mental health wise. And I didn't really understand that back then. When I saw this film, I didn't know how to express that. I hadn't been through stuff, but all these years later, 2 nights ago, when I watched the film, I had this completely, this thing that just clicked in my head of why I felt so deeply connected to that film was, I myself, and I think a lot of us can relate to Nina's character in the film, that you're just so, I think, obsessed with this idea of perfection, whether it's just absolutely being perfect at what it is you do, whether it's your craft, like Nina's was ballet, whether it's your job, or whether in general it's having this perfect life. Example, why don't I have that job right now, or that job that everyone else has, or why didn't I get that promotion, or, why don't I look like this? Something that I want to talk about later on is how I think if this movie were to come out today, I think it would be received totally differently. Because I think now with, 2010, I think social media was barely just taking off and becoming a thing. But today, you have TikTok and Instagram and, of course, YouTube as well. But I feel like YouTube, we're more chill on here, right? But on TikTok and Instagram and all that, you see everybody's life and what they're doing. And you see, I think, this can apply to anyone though. But, I think, just as a woman, you see other women and how they look, and why don't I look like that? Why is my, body not like that? Or why am I not that pretty, or my clothes or anything? And I think it just contributes to this whole idea of the obsession of being perfect and rushing to do something and become something that we're just not ready for. That's just maybe not even meant for us. And, personally, I think, like I said, I can relate to that so much. I'm sure a lot of us can. And I really do, personally, I identify with Nina's character in the sense that, when you see Nina in the beginning of the film, she's that White Swan character, especially and there's so much you could pull from Black Swan. There's this whole thing going on with the mom's character and how she treats Nina. She's so overprotective. She treats her like this literal child. Her bedroom is all pink and she's stuffed animals and everything. I mean, I'm just like that too, but not like my mom's putting that. Oh no, that's just me liking pink and all this stuff. But I myself feel very I'm not out of that. I know this sounds weird to say, but I'm not out of that adolescent stage myself, because I feel like I haven't had my Black Swan moment of going from this place of, it reminds me of that song by Britney Spears, I'm Not a Girl, Not Yet a Woman, where she's like, yeah, I'm not this little girl, but I don't feel like a woman. I'm just somewhere in between. It literally reminds me of the movie Black Swan, because it's I know I'm not a child, but I also don't feel like I've gone through this experience to be this strong, beautiful woman, this black swan, and, you look at other women and where other people are in their life and they're up so high, maybe people, and for everyone's going to mean a different thing. I'm just throwing out examples here. Like, oh, someone has that really cool job and that promotion. Oh, those people are getting married. Oh my gosh, look at them. How often, they go on vacation, or oh my god, that new car they got. Like, why is my life not like that? Why can't I be that good at that sport? It's just this endless obsession that we like imprison ourselves with. And I don't think that social media has contributed anything good to this. Like, if anything, it made it worse. It's made it worse. I mean, that's what I think. Unless, you can look at someone's life, and not even on social media, maybe it's like people in your life too. Maybe it's your friends, and all that you look at and you're like, oh my God, why am I not like them? And you know what? I really don't think, I know this is going to sound like this is like some kind of like therapy video, but this is literally just my reaction to the film the other day. You really can't blame yourself, right? For reacting that way. We can't blame Nina for being like, having the reaction she did. Of course, her reaction was so extreme that, she develops this paranoia and she starts projecting that, in the movie you would see her face on like, all these different people's bodies, whether it was like Mila Kunis's character. She would just start seeing herself everywhere. And I think that it just shows that how this obsession, this paranoia that she had over this role, over, someone competing with her for the role, has just literally made her create this whole other reality where she starts, going insane. And I think that's just so true, I mean, I don't think for me, I overthink so many things. I struggle myself with stuff. And, it's like, it shouldn't be that hard, right? It shouldn't be that hard to just be. And I think that's what, in the movie, her instructor, right, the director who's trying to tell her, like, you're the white swan, but you don't exhibit anything of the black swan. You need to be more like the black swan. And he's just telling her to kind of just be chill and be loose and just let things go, like, much like Mila Kunis's character, which I think that's why Natalie Portman's character Nina, she's so threatened by her, because she's like, how could she just like be so calm? There's like that one scene where they go out to the nightclub and Nina's like telling her, like, you're gonna drink and do all this stuff, tomorrow we have to go and rehearse or perform or something, or yeah, they're gonna have the performance, right? And she's like, yeah, so like Mila Kunis' character is totally just chill, and Natalie Portman's character can't like understand, like, I don't get it, like I have to do this and this and this, or else I'm not gonna be perfect. And I think, and obviously, like, yes, I think there are times in your life, whether it's your job or something else, where, you do have to do everything, like, okay, make sure I'm not doing this right, okay. But I think my general reaction to all that is that I think overthinking is just going to kill us, right? Like the need for perfection, the need for this, the need for, I need to do all this and this, and then everything will go well. And then you see that how it actually initially goes wrong for Nina when she goes to do the performance, right, the next day. And when she's doing her white swan part, and then the guy like drops her or whatever, and she's like, oh my gosh, like, it still went wrong. And I think then from that moment, she realizes, what, I've been like doing too much. Like, I'm doing too much. And I think she really just like loses it, where then she does it happen before or after that she goes into her dressing room? Oh yeah, I think that's after, where she goes in her dressing room and she thinks that she sees Mila Kunis' character in there, getting ready in the Black Swan makeup, and she's like, I could play your part. And then Natalie Portman gets in that tuffle with her and she thinks that she killed her. But oh man, when she does her Black Swan performance, which is so beautiful, by the way. I just want to talk about that. And then, there's the parts you see in the film where she literally has, I mean, it's all in her head, but she has this, you see it on screen, she has this physical metamorphosis into an actual, like, Black Swan. Is like crazy, where, I mean, there's that crazy scene where her knees literally give out and, like, break, to, like, she was, like, becoming like a swan, and then how she was growing the feathers on her arms. I mean, that scene where, she goes on stage to perform as a Black Swan during the performance, and she's spinning around and the black feathers keep growing on her until she has the full like wings. That is so beautiful. Like, I can't, oh my gosh, like Darren Aronofsky, he did an incredible job. That is just so beautiful. Like, that scene, like, I felt it right here, like in my chest. I'm like, it's just something's like happening. I think I emotionally also became a Black Swan while witnessing that moment. It was just so beautiful. And then, right, she goes back to her dressing room and she sees that, Mila Kunis' character comes up and she's like, that was so great. And she's like, what the heck? I thought you were supposed to be dead. I'm pretty sure I killed you and stuffed you in my closet. And she goes and there's nothing. And then that realization when she realizes that she's, killed, like, injured herself, because this whole time she's projecting onto Mila Kunis' character, she's projecting onto everyone. She was the one at war with herself this whole time, and her obsessive thoughts and her paranoia. And isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? When we're just overthinking everything and obsessing over this, we're torturing ourselves. And that's when her instructor, right, the director, he tells her, the only person standing in your way is you. Like, we're really our worst enemy at the end of the day. And then, I love that, mirrors play such a huge role in this film, where Natalie will be like standing in front of a mirror and then the reflection will peek over her. Like, it's creepy, but it's like, it's literally her standing in her own way. She thinks that all these other people are the ones, her greatest enemy, like they're competing with her. She's super paranoid about it, but she's the one creating all of this madness in her head, which eventually takes her life. I mean, that scene, and then when she's performing the final, I pulled up the shot here because I knew like I had to talk about this. The final dance as the White Swan, and where is it? Oh, it's a little blurry, but this one right here where she's performing it in front of that like sun, but she's just like bleeding throughout down there. Like, this scene, it literally, I literally got so emotional over this. I got so emotional. Like, it's at this point where like this is what she's wanted, she's dreamt about, she's worked her like life for, but because she like just obsessed over everything, she was so just paranoid and just went over the edge. Like, it killed her in that moment. Like, so that was really her only time to enjoy everything she dreamt of, was in that moment. And then she died because it eventually just killed her. I mean, that is so sad to watch. I mean, and then, what she says in the end when she's lying on that mattress where she falls and she's like, it was perfect. It was perfect. I don't know if she says I was perfect. I think she says it was perfect, but she wanted that more than anything. Like, that's all she worked for. And I think that, I think there's so many people in life who can relate to that, wanting to be good at maybe their job or their craft or whatever it is. And that means everything to them. But, sometimes I think it literally takes so much from you. It takes so much from your life. And I think you realize how much you're missing out on by obsessing over this stuff and how it's just not great for you, and that's why I think it struck me so much the other day when I watched that scene. And I'm just like, I myself, I get so worked up about so many things, I get worked up, and then, but it's like, I don't mean to get dark about this, guys. I don't mean to get dark, but it is Black Swan. One day it's just going to be it for us, right? Like, it's just going to be it, and then it's over. Why get so worked up about this stuff? Why worry about perfection? Why worry if our lives are not like someone else's lives and we're not doing that? Maybe we're not super great. Here I am on my YouTube channel that I just started like a month ago or something. And, I'm so happy with like the fact that anyone even watches my videos. I don't care if it's like 3 people watching. Like, I'm so happy with that. I'm not going to compare myself to like Mr. Beast with his like how many hundreds of millions of views. No, like I'm enjoying the journey and just taking my time. And that's something that I found, a lot of love in and comfort is everything. Life's a journey. And, I think there's a journey in anything you do. And I think that's, something that Nina, Natalie Portman's character would probably say had she had lived. You know, she didn't need to obsess over becoming this Black Swan. You know, it's a journey to get there. It's not this thing that I feel like I need to be. You know, everyone's telling her, mom's telling her one thing, you know, Mila Kunis is saying one thing, the ballet director saying one thing. You know, you're going to have a lot of voices of people telling you what to do. And ultimately, yes, it is going to drive you crazy. It sucks when everyone's like trying to tell you, even if they mean well, but it's just like, ultimately you are that person living that life. And ultimately, you know what you need to do to get there. And I just feel like, you know, watching that movie now, like that's something I realized. I think when I was like super young, I didn't realize. I thought, you know, I'm supposed to have it all figured out. And guess what? I still don't. All these years later, and I still don't. But it's okay. It is okay not to have it all figured out. It is okay to just be and let yourself bloom into this swan or whatever it is you see for yourself. You know, you don't want to rush a bad thing. You don't want to rush a good thing or whatever. You don't want to rush a good thing and it turns out bad for you, you know? And I just think there's so much you could pull from this. And, you know, like I was saying with the whole, like, I think if this movie Black Swan were to come out today in the world that we find ourselves in with like social media and people comparing their lives to each other. I mean, honestly, I'm going to be honest. I think social media has done more harm than good for a lot of people. Comparison is such a killer. And I think that, you know, if that movie were to come out, people would see, you know what? Dang, like, yeah, I shouldn't be doing that. Like that's no good for me. And I think that's just like my whole reaction, you know, to all of this. Is like, we've got to release ourselves from the prison of perfection because it doesn't exist. You think someone looks perfect and their life's perfect and this is the perfect thing, but it's not. Honestly, everybody struggles in ways that you don't see. You're not going to see that on social media. People aren't going to post about that, you know, but it's something that does exist. And I think everything has its time and everything is supposed to happen when it's meant to, you know? You know, honestly, that's why I felt so compelled to talk about Black Swan. I really, you know, if you guys watch this and you've never seen the movie, and I shared a ton of spoilers, but I still hope you see it. Or maybe if you watched it a long time ago, I hope you get to revisit the film like I did. I honestly watched, I think that's what's such the beautiful thing about revisiting a film, especially from a film that you watched a long time ago, is you never know what kind of reaction you're going to have. And you might understand that film completely differently than what you did before. And I just think that's so beautiful. And this film's always going to be, you know, one of my top favorite films. Like, it's a film I need when I think I'm feeling a bit down. And I need to be reminded that, you know what? It's okay not to feel like your life needs to be perfect right now, because, you know, it's not going to end well, you know, having all these obsessive thoughts and everything, you know. But such a beautiful film. I love it. Natalie Portman is just absolutely stunning and amazing. I think she did such incredible, phenomenal work in this film, and I absolutely loved it. I think that's all I wanted to say. I don't know. I just honestly, I never have notes or a plan of what I'm going to say when I make videos. So that's just it. But, you know, honestly, I would love to know your reaction to Black Swan. Did you have a completely different reaction to watching the film? What did you think of it? What do you pull from it? And yeah. Guys, I just want to thank you guys so much for checking out a video. I want to thank everyone who subscribed to the channel. Thank you once again for checking out another video with me. I appreciate it. And if you're here for the first time watching a video of mine, I talk about everything: movies, TV shows, fandom stuff, even theme parks. I do a weekly show called In the Universe where I cover entertainment topics going on in Hollywood and stuff weekly. And yeah, I mean, if you guys want to be a part of the universe on my channel, I'd love to have you. But guys, I really appreciate you checking out this video. I hope to continue this series, and when I feel compelled to talking about a film from the past, do, you know, my own personal deep dive on the film and just my reaction to it in general. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy watching Black Swan if you've never seen it or if you're revisiting it again. Guys, thank you so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great week.